Alright, we're back. We're doing the rear suspension on the car today. So we're swapping the BC red coilovers for stock coilovers. In case you didn't see the last video of me doing the front, basically we've got two sets of coils. This one in particular is from a JZX100. All the part numbers for a few of the JZX100 models line up for the LS400, both the UCF10 and the UCF20. So if you go to buy one, make sure you look at the part numbers and match them all up. I matched them up, but the sub-model of the Chaser that these came off of must have been a little bit different. So the rears work pretty well. The clearance on the wheels, or rather the kind of ride height on the wheel, is okay on the rear. And the other set is from a Toyota Sora. These two, and the fronts are already in this car. The Sora, which is a 2-door, and this 4-door humongous luxury sedan are both about the same weight. So I'm confident in the front suspension being able to hold the car at least just for a blue slip, and then we'll chuck the BC Reds back on. We've got the JZX100 coil. I'm going to be putting it on the rear passenger side. I've already done the driver side rear, just doing the passenger side now. It took me ages to work out how to get this car lifted in the rear. It's always really difficult. What I've done is totally shafted pinch welds here. I've fixed the driver's side in the front pinch weld. It takes a minute. You got to take this trim off and some trim in the front, and it's pretty time consuming. So I'm avoiding doing it again until I need to, which I'll need to very soon. So yeah, I'm trying to avoid smashing the pinch welds in any further to make more work for myself. In Australia, getting pinch weld jacks is really difficult. There's also not really any place to do like a trolley jack in the rear, except for the rear diff, but this is a little bit of a slope. That wouldn't really be all that safe for my application. So what I've done here is a combination of a scissor jack and a jack stand supported by a block of wood. This wood I've cut a little slit in, so that should hold quite nicely. Gave it like a little bit of a load test before I put the car weight on it. This isn't holding the car. Getting under a car supported by a scissor jack is definitely not recommended by anyone in their right mind. I've just got this here just as a kind of last resort, but all the weight is actually on this jack stand right here. So yeah, the block of wood is holding up quite well. I usually always leave my trolley jack up under somewhere near a jack stand in case the whole thing drops. At least if the jack stands fail, then the trolley jack will catch the car, hopefully, so I'll have enough time to either quickly run out before the trolley jack fails, or if it fails, or any of that. So just kind of a safety thing I like to do. Also, when I take the tire off, I like to put the tire under the car as well, either near where I'm working or somewhere over there, just so that if all the jacks fail, the wheel can't fail. It supports the weight of the car already. If it all drops onto the wheel, it'll destroy the wheel, but at least I'll be all right. I'll still have legs and hopefully arms and optionally a head. Then we're gonna put it under the car. Yay! Done. For safety. All right, so one very important thing is the top bolts of this suspension is behind the back seat. So in order to get to that, we've got to rip the back seat up. In the LS400, the top nuts on the rear coil are behind the back seat. I've just got the seat pried forward with one of the headrests. It's got this funny little cap on it that looks like this thing. It's probably to keep the weather out. They probably don't do a whole lot anyway. Ugh. So we're going to be taking those out. I won't film that part because it's going to be really, really annoying. So yeah, wish me luck. We're going to take out the bottom bolt again as well. I'll see how I go with this side, but I have a feeling that I might have to take out the sway bar end link as well. But we'll see what happens. So yeah, let's do it. Oh yeah. There we go. Maybe I'll put it over the antenna. Doink. Oh, so cute. So now I've got to get this bolt out by, oh shit, by either lifting this up, pulling the bolt out, see if I can. All right, so I undid the bottom bolt. It's going to be difficult to get out without dropping a bunch of stuff. This is actually extended longer than the stock suspension is, so I'm going to undo this nut. This is adjustable height, so I'm going to pull the height up so that I can get it around this upper control arm thingy that's kind of low. And yeah, I'll be able to scoot that over and get this out. I'll grab a BC Racing suspension wrench. All right, so I've got this top bolt loose. Got to thread it up these yucky threads, but that's all right. I'll give them a clean. I'm gonna twist the bottom up to follow it, just like this. Then I'll be able to really easily just get it over this upper control arm. Just got the stock strut in. It's really hard to get in here, so I'm just gonna do my best. I might just move this wheel speed sensor cable out of the way, cut these zip ties. This is being pushed down right now. I really don't want this to push down on the cable. That'll be a pretty quick way to kill it. Then I'm gonna move this big dude. I came up with a better idea, and that was I got this trolley jack bar and used it as a pry. I put it in between these two things, pried down, and as you can see, you can get heaps of leverage behind that. I can stand on this, but the wheel arch is in the way, and it's really hard to get a good foot on it and be able to push it down while also getting the suspension in there. So I'll line up the top bolts. Oh shit, ow, my fingers. I'll line up the top bolts. Put the bottom bolt in. I did take off the sway bar end link just to make it a little bit easier for me. So yeah, as you can see, that's where it was holding it. I'll put this cable back in place as well. Go somewhere here, put it back in this little holder thing and bend that back. Get some fresh cable ties there, and so yeah, that's about it. Let's do it. All right, I got it in. The top bolts line up and the bottom nut is in. The suspension that I have, because it's been in a car for its whole life so far, a JZX100, the bushing over years is naturally worn to sit like this. There's no way in hell that I'll be able to bend it while I'm trying to put a bolt in to make it line up with the hole. So what I did was, because it was facing the opposite way, I rotated this bottom section around. The top nuts will line up with the holes, and I'll be able to get this bolt through on a downward angle. So I've been able to do that, and as you can see, I've got the bolt through just here. Yep, like so. And I don't know if you can see, but the top bolts are lined up pretty well. I'll get a little bottle jack, which I've got right here, and I'll put it under the suspension just here. I can probably use my hands or even do the old crowbar trick that I did just then, but I've got this, I might as well just use it. And I'll just jack this assembly up, and I'll be able to guide the holes like this. I'm gonna put the bottle jack just under this one. The nuts are lined up. I might be able to do this by hand. Yeah, beautiful. I'm gonna go inside and I'm gonna put some of the top bolts on so that way I can let go of all this. I'm 80% sure that these nuts are gonna be too big.
What did he say?
Yeah, they are. These should be a good size. All right, so I've got my torque wrench here set to 80 foot-pounds. This is not 80 foot-pounds. This bottom bolt of the strut should be, I think it's like 105 or something, but my torque wrench only goes up to 80, and then pull it a little bit further. It's not the end of the world. She'll be right. You'll probably notice again the nut is on the right side. That's because this car is facing to the left of the camera, so I'll put the bolt in on the left side so that the wind and everything is going to push the bolt in case this nut comes out. It'll probably move the suspension and I'll notice something is wrong. At least the nut will stay in and not everything will fall apart, so that I can have a moment to stop and check what's going on. So I'm just going to torque this down real quick. There we go, that's 80. So I'm going to give it one more push past the tick. There you go, maybe about 5 or 10 degrees or something. There we go, I'll leave it there. I can torque down the top nuts, but I won't bother because I've absolutely nuked them on. I'll throw the wheel back on, and then I think that's it. Not bad. It's a bit low, but what are you gonna do? No big deal. It's alright. No biggie. Not bad. Alright, just took the car for a quick test drive. It's all going pretty well. There's only one thing that I have left to fix. And that is when I stomp on the brake and let go. I think it's this brake. You can hear it go dong, 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 dong. So something is happening. I'm not too sure what, but I'm gonna take it off, make sure all the bolts are nice and tight, make sure they're all torqued down, maybe do some Loctite. I'm not really sure. Something, but I'll just give everything a once over. The rear, the rears are sitting pretty low. Not ideal, but if they're high enough, then it's all good. If not, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. The clearance looks okay. It's just that the rear struts in this car from factory are really, really long. So it's kind of hard to find like a kind of good replacement for them. It's all good. I'll take it up, see what they say. If the mechanic is all good with it, then all good. If not, then, oh shit. If not, then I'll look for some others. Anyway, see you when we're looking at that brake.